Hello, today I'm going to be reviewing this inflatable pool by Intex, and it comes with a sunshade. We've had this for 2 summers now, so I'll go over the pros and cons of this, as well as any secret tips that we found during that time. So starting off, there is quite a bit of air that is needed for this, so it is recommended that you have some kind of pump, whether that's a hand pump like we're using here, or an electric pump, just because filling up the bottom and the sunshade takes a lot of air, and if you're doing that with your mouth, it's going to take you a long time to do that, and you'll probably get lightheaded or winded or have a headache. So I definitely don't recommend doing it by mouth. What's nice about this is the size. It's not so big that it can't fit in small yards, but it is large enough that it can house multiple kids. So my daughter plays with it usually by herself, but there's enough room for her cousins when they come over or friends in the neighborhood, things like that. Now, once you have everything inflated and you have it filled with water, the sunshade is actually removable. So sometimes we use it without, sometimes we use it with. It just attaches to the corners with Velcro. I really like the cute little pattern on the bottom. And then another thing that we do is we put a little slide on it, so our daughter can do like a quick slide down into it and have a little splash. She really likes that. Another nice thing about this is actually the sunshade providing shade. So right here we're next to trees, but sometimes we don't put it all the way out here. And so you can determine if you want to get more sun or less sun. And in either case, because the sunshade is so light, you can pop it off or put it on as needed, and it's not too big of an issue. One thing that is nice is the durability. It is pretty durable. My dog has jumped in it and she didn't puncture it. And when she was getting out, she actually put her paws on the side wall to try and get out and jump, and it didn't puncture it. She weighs about 40 pounds, so she's a medium-sized dog. So it is pretty durable. However, if you have like rocks or wood chips or anything like that, I do recommend putting maybe a tarp or something down just to help keep it, prevent punctures and stuff like that. The bottom is pretty thick though, so that shouldn't be an issue. Another thing too is if you're planning on using this in a windy area or anything like that, you may need to secure the shade with some extra rope or something like that. We've never had that issue, and we do live in a pretty windy area, but I'm just pointing that out that it could be the case. Also, if you are in a windy area or below trees, do expect that you're going to get some debris in the pool. And so if you have a way to like scoop that out or just clean it with your hand, that might be something that you have to do. The last thing that I'll mention is if you're filling this up with the hose water is usually really cold. So I recommend filling it up a day or two before the kids want to play with it, and then leave it in the sun. If you can cover it with like a black tarp or something like that, it should help get some extra heat in there. And that way the water's not freezing cold, because we had just set this up on this day, and my daughter's teeth were chattering, so she couldn't play with it very long before she had to get in a towel. So something to keep in mind if you're going to want to play for a number of hours outside. Anyways, all in all, this is a really good product. My daughter loved it last year. She's having a lot of fun with it this year, so I highly recommend it. I hope this was helpful, and thank you for watching.